साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। अपार करुणा सिंधु ज्ञानतं शांतरूपिणं श्री चंद्रशेखर गुरुं वंदे प्रणमामि मुदान्वाम्। ईश्वरो गुरोरात्मेति मूर्ति भेद विभागिने व्योमताप्तदेहाय श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। So I plan to take up one question that has come up in our satsanga and have some vichara. And the reason I want to do this live is because I want whatever the divine inspires and the providence guides, let that be the fulcrum to which the answers come. So this is a good Atma Vichari friend of mine. He is a blessed soul who has had the grace of Mahaperiva, Annamalai Swami, perhaps even Kantamma, and many of other Ramana Maharshi's old original devotees, direct devotees from Ramana Maharshi's time. Probably Krishna Swami and all you might have known, J.K. and even Jnana Purushasam, Sris like Gangama. He is a blessed soul and by divine Kamakshi Sannidhi Shankramata Darshanam, where we had a so I came to know this soul, and we were we have Vedanta discussion among other discussions, and this question came up. So I am just here, and I'm pretty sure he has an answer to all this, but he is just trying to see is there another perspective here, and I too like to do vichara. I mean, after all, you can. This is what Atma Vichara is all about, not let the mind be bothered about other things. So the question on the table is very simple. We create our reality, and so I will try to get that question exactly as it is. That way we can dive into it. The world is our perception, our mind. If you come from Sankhya, Karikarika, all that, Purusha, Prakriti, the Jnanendriya, Indrendriya, Karmendriya, all that, those 24 tattvas, however you come at it, it is mind that is creating this existence and all that. We have all read plenty of Vedanta. So if it is our mind that creates this perceived reality, we are not going into the actual reality. Actual reality, we all know it's Atman. And in fact, if you come at this from Ramana Maharshi or even Sri Nachur Swami's angle, he will say, why do you want to ask about other what, why and all that? Ask who are you? Go into that. Only one question word that you should be interested is who, and in that who from a first person perspective. Rest all doesn't matter. But so yeah, right there is one answer. So, but let's entertain this question and see what else comes here. So if we are generating this perceived reality because of our mind, vasanas, all that, we have those explanations also, right? And we also say this world is an illusion. Then how come we all exist in the same world? Like, it's a question. Now, juxtapose this next to this a statement from Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, who says there are no others. How should we treat others? He says there are no others. And today I was listening to a very old Swami Nachur Swami's pravachana, probably it was 2012 or something. was very young. And in that he said, and he reminded, which I have also read in other places, but it was that reminder. And Westerner comes and asks Bhagavan, so Bhagavan, you are asking me to give up everything what I possess. Is this a step towards jnana? And Bhagavan says, possessor too. It's a wonderful, I think it's in talks or day by day, somewhere there. I think it's mostly in some talks, in one of those. So, leave the possessor too. One who, so it's a, see again, in Tamil there is one word, patratru. Patru means attachment, patratru means cutting off. So, detached, or in better glorified Sanskrit word is vairagya. And Viveka Chudamani, it's 68 or somewhere, vairagya. Otherwise, all Vedanta is just a outer spill, academic spill. So that is all there. Okay, we digressed a little bit into Vairagya and all that. But the essence of the question is, where did we come into that? Because there are no others. But then, even in this perceived, then we all have this classic example, right? Like, the screen, the play, all that, Leela, everything. So we all have plenty of, nothing touches the screen. Screen is the substratum, Turiya is this thing, all that we all, So too much of, even Meta AI actually does a wonderful conversations in all these things. In fact, it probably would have arrived at a better answer by now. He asked Meta AI. Then, but anyway, we'll explore this a little bit. Okay, who knows? And opportunity prevails, I'll ask Swami also. So, how is it that we are all perceiving the same world? This is the question. Unfortunately, we live in a world where one used to take 15, 20, maybe minutes to answer some questions, and that's a side comment I'm making, I'm not going to take that many, but I'm saying, one used to take 15 minutes sometimes to answer a question, and sometimes he will not answer until an hour or two had passed, and then finally it might come. So we are living in 2026, that was 1930s, almost 100 years ago, almost. Different era, different times. Nowadays, if you sit before a Swami and any Swami takes 15 minutes to answer, I doubt anybody will sit in front of that Swami for 15-20 minutes, other than if Swami himself is sitting and meditating, that's a different story. But see, one thing I always found was this word illusion. The illusion, and then there is this delusion. People actually mix up these things a lot of times especially when Vedanta circles. I see people use illusion, but when it is meant as delusion, when it is delusion, it is meant as illusion. So there is those two, illusion, delusion. We'll come to that. And one classic, this thing is mirage effect. And Swami also always keeps saying that mirage is one thing that when it comes to the snake and the rope, at least it's a, the projection that overlays on on top of the actual reality is a rope, but the snake is just a projection that is overlaid, a misapprehension, which when you see it with the right light, you realize that truth. Well, when it comes to the mirage, you see that. I mean, especially when you are driven in US and all, you are driving Arizona side or long drives, you are seeing that, you see all of a sudden in the barren land, a reflection and a upside down hill and all that. It is visible. You can Google it also, images, you can see all this. It is photographed, all that. So it's so only by intellect you can clarify, or you go close by and you realize there is no water, or it is just the shimmer of the surface is merely not water, but it is the the refracted lights that represent, and then whatever was on the outside it reflects opposite upside down and gives you an image as if there was some water surface there. So whatever. So that is mirage. But here the question is, where is this multiplicity coming from? Here is where we are going to go deep into the Advaita side of things. Of course, we have spent almost 10 minutes to lay this background. Let's arrive at this quickly. So one is, it's not delusion, even though Brahma, they say Bhranti and all that in some scriptures. Ashavakra and all those places, they have mentioned about this as Bhranti. Bhranti means Brahma. Brahma means, misunderstanding only. Brahma misunderstood, I would say, almost. Brahma means, delusion only it comes to. Now, illusion, it is an effect that you see. And I always say illusion can be explained by science. Let's linger on this. Science can explain an illusion in one way. You ask a physicist, how does mirage work? He will explain mirage to you. But the effect is there, but he will explain the mirage. Intellectually, mirage is not a confusion to anybody. And especially for not from a student of physics, because he'll give you a perfect answer why the light, all he will demonstrate you in a laboratory condition. So illusion is scientifically explained. 3D effect is an illusion. You feel like it's coming at you. But what is Mithya and Maya? This is the most important thing that I personally believe people miss it. Mithya and Maya, they're almost interchangeable, so I use both words. It is not Satya, it is not Asatya. Then what is Satya? We'll come to it later, because Satya is self, Atman. Everybody knows that. A Vedanta student will know that. And everybody knows that they are that also. It is, actually we are trying to address here some prarabdha and those vasanas of trying to understand is what we are addressing, because everybody who has been in Vedanta has got a good grasp of all this. The question here is, why don't we all see the same? Why do we see all the same world? Why are we not seeing the world like we are in sleep? So here is the thing. Mind has different states is one thing, but first let's get the Satya, Asatya and Nitya clarified. Sanskrit did not need to have another word Nitya if there was Satya and Asatya. This is the answer. English doesn't have those kind of words. We try to make up with these words, delusion, illusion and all that. It is not truth, it is not untruth. That is the whole point here. What is untruth? If I show suddenly 2 horns, not as an effect, really. If my dog had 2 horns, and I show you, here is my dog with 2 horns, that is untruth. Yeah, I have either glued some horn or something, or if I show a horn from back and suddenly show it, then that is untruth. Everybody on the other side of this thing will say, he has glued something, or some tumor that looks like a horn. So, and the classic example is hare's horn, hare as a rabbit. That is untruth, asatya. The truth is what we think as the world, and that is the one we are trying to understand. And when we really understand, we realize that the truth is only I. The Advaita will answer that. That is the thing about mithya. It is not truth. It is not untruth. It seems like truth. And when you really inquire, you recognize the reality. Someone spends some time with all intention, one can literally bring this mind's focus inward and see everything disappear. And if one is more capable, he can keep his eyes open and also not see. I mean, a lot of people are lost in thoughts. The ocular functions are all there. Optical, everything is working, but he is really thinking something. So, there is an explanation to all that, even in a deep thought. So, the only thing is, deep thought is still outside. Even though it's inside, it's still outside. But if you really bring the thinking itself to its own source, and this is the key part of Vedanta, which science has never explored, the modern science, when I say science. The original science is Vedas, that's different. That's why Vedas is Ananta. Because science is Ananta, knowing is Ananta. But that's a different aspect. But when we use the word coin, the word science, we mean it as the modern science. And that science has not explored the way in which the Vedanta has explored. And Vedanta itself says, when you come to this knowing as the end knowing, that is when you get here. Don't come here otherwise. You are finally here. It's like the last yard in the American football terms, last 10 yards are in the penalty area. You are very near the goal. That's it. You are all knowing, you are done, completion, everything done. You are into that final knowing. Who is this knower who wants to know all these things? Who is this person? Who is this entity? And you are trying to figure out. That is when you come to Vedanta. So it comes, Veda comes at it holistically. Anyway, that's beside the point. So when you're really trying to know the knower itself, you recognize that the world itself is disappearing. We gave an example that even a scientist also can disappear all other things because he's very focused on one thing. In fact, normally when we have something really deep to think, don't we all press this hand here? Very natural function. And when we are trying to ascertain something we say, I didn't do it. I'm very emotional. I'm really hurt. I'm really felt. When it is emotion, we try to put a hand here. When we really want to think it out, like how do I figure this one out? Your natural posture is this. There is something there as a habit. Anyway, we'll cover that all later. So, first and foremost, the reality what we perceive with the perception, because my eyes can see, I can see my hand, all that, and because it's all image, you can see that side. This world, why is it same for everybody? This is the question. This whys and all, Ramana Maharshi has said, we are here. Why do you want to figure out how you became? Why do you have someone else? My father at his 45th year had all white hair, beard. My beard is only some. Why do you want? Why? My mother, grandmother's grandpa, gene, perhaps I'm bald here. My father never was bald, this bald, even at 75. Why do you want to figure all these things out? Ramana Maharshi will say that Drop all that. Anyway, that is one answer. We started with that. But we still are indulging here. Why? We are lingering here for only two reasons, and we have to wrap it up because attention span is 20 minutes. Oh my God. We have to wrap it up. Who wants to listen to? Even I wouldn't listen to my own 20 minutes. One is we have to come to Advaita. There is only one. Everything is coming of you. So, if everything is coming of you, then is it not possible that everything is your experience, so everybody is going to experience your world? That's one answer. One other answer. First answer is don't bother about all that. That's a classic answer. The second answer is this is Advaita. So, obviously, in your world, everybody is in your world. But it is actually takes you home to Advaita. Now there is only two, the world that this world and there is the world of dream. There is only two difference. Bhagavan will say that is seems like it is a shorter one and this is a longer one, but and seems like there is a continuity because you continue back when you wake up. And there is an answer to that also. Why does it feel like that? But these whys or waste is what again we have to go back. But the thing is, because it's your world, everything else will experience the same world is one answer. Because when I am gone, my world is gone. Not the world. I am gone, my world is gone. And for me, the world is also gone. Because I am gone, no. For a person who has not seen Hail Mary, Project Hail Mary, what good it will do if I start talking about it? Or a person who has not even done any exploration on Prajna, what good it will do? Or a person who, for example, I am not following the soccer, so someone if he starts explaining about soccer to me right now, what's going on, the current version, what is going on, if I have interest in it, that's a different story. Or let's pick up another thing, an equestrian or something. We don't know anything about it other than the fact it might be some people are jumping on a horse. So it is, see, our world is only our world. Even within this world itself, there are people who are focused on certain things, and we are not. Even in future, the AIs themselves are going to be focused on certain things. Yeah, they are trying to make an AAGI and all that. But again, I digress because that is something that I am exploring. This is Advaita. So in our world, everything belongs to the way we create. There is one other answer. There is one more answer here. That's why I'm pausing and trying to see that. One is don't bother. Third is it's mithya. Yeah. That is the other answer. Mithya means you don't try to seek an explanation. It can never be explained. That is the fun part of it. It is so complex. It cannot be explained. It is not truth. It is not false. It is not false as in asatya. It is not satya because satya is you. So you are participating in that satya. Because you participate in everything, the mithya becomes satya. Jiva brahmaiva na para. Only because the jiva is Brahma. Otherwise Jagat mithya, Brahma satya. So we are trying to explain mithya. Don't try. It's like somebody sitting and counting grains of sand, it can never be done. And Swami had one wonderful example on this. I think it has something to do with Narada, something to do with the egg a bird had, and it is trying to, the ocean, it's trying to drain the ocean. A bird had, I think, had nested its eggs, and the ocean swept away, and the bird got angry at the ocean and is trying to drain the ocean or something. It can never happen. So, and I one other example I used to, a few years ago when I discovered it was a, eureka for me. With a teaspoon, you can never measure the ocean. It might seem, so go and tell somebody, we can. No, it can't be done. Mathematically, something you can do. You cannot measure the ocean with a teaspoon. Period. Your arm will fall by the time you measure the ocean. You don't have another earth to possible. So, mithya is something like that. So, trying to put our mind into this kind of thing is rabbit hole. It is what mind wants you. Mind wants you to chase outside only, because it knows the moment you go in, it's not even there. So it will come up with an interesting question. 20 years sadhana, it will come with a very interesting question. Anyway, so Arunachala Siva, I hope I myself have to listen to this to contemplate on what it is. Arunachala Siva, Arunachala Siva, Arunachala.